Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this. You're rummaging through your spare change, maybe looking for enough quarters to feed a parking meter or grab a vending machine snack. Suddenly, you find something interesting. A penny. But not just any penny. Oh no. This is a 1979 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, and guess what? It's worth a jaw-dropping $1 million. Yep, you heard that right. A coin you've probably overlooked your entire life might just make you rich. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of this penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can check your own pocket change for this hidden gem. So grab your magnifying glass, because by the end of this video, you might just become the next millionaire. Let's get started. Why is the 1979 no mint mark penny so valuable? Okay, let's break it down. First, what's the big deal with mint marks? Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark. However, in 1979, there was a very specific production error involving these pennies. The presses responsible for stamping the mint marks missed a batch. Normally, this wouldn't cause much of a fuss, but the rarity of this particular error and its pristine condition turned these coins into the unicorns of the coin world. There were millions of pennies produced that year, but only a teeny-tiny fraction of them slipped through without that little P mark. Coin collectors, being the treasure-hungry detectives they are, noticed this oddity and boom. The 1979 no mint mark penny became the coin everyone wanted. How do you know if you have one? Now, before you start raiding your piggy bank or shaking down your couch cushions, let's talk about what you're looking for. Grab a 1979 penny, hold it up to the light, and check the front side. Specifically, look under the date, where you'd usually see a mint mark like a P or D. If there's nothing there, congratulations. You might be holding one of these rare coins. Here's a little pro tip. Condition matters. A beat-up penny with scratches and wear probably won't fetch much. But if it's in mint or near mint condition, that's when you're talking serious money. We're talking retire early and buy a yacht kind of money. What's it worth today? All right, the million-dollar question, literally. How much is this penny worth? The best-known example of a 1979 no mint mark penny sold at auction for a whopping $1.2 million. Why? Because collectors are willing to pay a fortune for something so rare and unique. The value also depends on demand, and let me tell you, the demand for error coins like this one is through the roof. Even if yours isn't in perfect condition, it could still bring in a few $1,000s. That's not a bad return on a coin that originally cost, well, 1 cent. Now, let me share a little story with you. A few years ago, I decided to help my nephew sort through his coin collection. He had this old shoebox full of pennies, and we spent hours just sifting through them. At the time, I didn't know much about rare coins, so we were mostly looking for shiny ones or coins with funny designs. Fast forward to last year, I was reading about this very penny, and a light bulb went off. I remembered seeing a 1979 penny with no mint mark in that box. I called up my nephew, but guess what? He'd already taken the whole collection to a Coinstar machine and cashed it in for face value. Ouch. Moral of the story? Check your coins carefully before trading them for a bag of Skittles. So there you have it. The story of the 1979 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could turn you into a millionaire. It's incredible to think that something so small and ordinary could be worth so much. And the best part? These pennies are still out there, waiting to be discovered by someone like you. Coins like these remind us to look closer at the little things in life. You never know where you might find hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, rare collectibles, and tips for treasure hunting, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let's uncover more secrets of the coin world together. Who knows? The next million-dollar find could be sitting right in your pocket. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked? I'm not talking about fishing out quarters for the laundromat or digging for dimes in the drive-thru. I'm talking about inspecting every penny like it holds the secrets of the universe. Because guess what? One little penny could make you a millionaire. Yup, you heard me. Today, we're diving into the story of the legendary 1982 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin currently valued at $1.10 million. If that doesn't make you want to dump out your piggy bank right now, stick around. We're breaking down why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and a crazy story that'll have you checking every piece of copper you touch from now on. Let's get into it.so. Here's the deal. In 1982, the US Mint was in the middle of a transition. They were switching from pennies made of solid copper to a copper-plated zinc composition. This was because copper prices were skyrocketing. Apparently, even Uncle Sam has to pinch pennies. But, as with any big change, things got a little messy. Somewhere along the way, a batch of pennies was minted without a mint mark. And boom, just like that, a legend was born. Now, let's break this down. If you're holding a 1982 penny in your hand, here's what you need to know. Look under the date. If there's no little letter D for Denver or S for San Francisco, you might just have something special. But here's the kicker. Not all 1982 no-mint mark pennies are worth millions. The key is the weight. Grab a digital scale. Trust me, it's worth the investment, and weigh that bad boy. The rare ones weigh about 3.11 grams because they're made of solid copper. So, why is this coin worth $1.1 million? It's all about rarity. Only a handful of these bad boys exist, and collectors are willing to pay big bucks to own a piece of history. Think of it like owning a vintage Ferrari but way smaller and, a little less flashy. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandpa sort through his coin jar. He's one of those old-school guys who still pays for coffee with exact change, so he's got jars and jars of coins. I joked, "What if we find $1 million penny in here?" We laughed and kept sorting, but then, bam! I spotted a 1982 penny with no mint mark. My heart nearly stopped. We weighed it, but sadly, it was one of the lighter zinc ones. Still, for a solid 5 minutes, we thought we'd struck gold, or copper in this case. Moral of the story? Even if you don't find the holy grail of pennies, the hunt is half the fun. Plus, it's a great way to bond with family or friends. Alright, so let's recap. The 1982 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a coin worth dreaming about, and who knows? It might just be sitting in your change jar right now. Remember to check for no mint mark, weigh it for that magic 3.11 grams, and don't be afraid to geek out a little. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for identifying valuable finds, and maybe a few more embarrassing stories from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Oh, and don't forget to click the notification bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next video. Who knows? It might just make you rich. Alright, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a penny in your pocket and thought, it's just a penny, right? Well, my friend, what if I told you there's a 2018 Abraham Lincoln penny with a little D mint mark that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million? Yes, you heard that right. A penny that's worth more than your car, your house, and probably your neighbor's car too. And the craziest part? It could be sitting in that old jar you never touch on your dresser. Stick around because today, we're diving deep into what makes this little copper coin so valuable, how to spot one, and why some collectors are willing to shell out millions for a single penny. Oh, and I'll even share a personal story about how I almost threw away a rare coin without even knowing it. Spoiler alert, I cried. Let's get into it. What's the deal with the 2018 D Lincoln penny? First, let's break it down. The 2018 D penny is your standard modern Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the date. Now, normally, these pennies are a dime a dozen, well, technically 100 for $1. But here's the kicker. There's a rare error variety that collectors are going absolutely bananas over. What's the error, you ask? It's known as a double die obverse, or DDO for short. Basically, it's a minting mistake where the design on the front of the coin, specifically Lincoln's profile and the lettering, appears doubled. It's like the coin had one too many cups of coffee and got a little jittery. This error makes the coin incredibly rare because it's not supposed to exist, and collectors love things that aren't supposed to exist. It's like the forbidden fruit of the coin world. To put this into perspective, billions of pennies were minted in 2018, but only a handful of these error coins slipped through the cracks. We're talking maybe a few dozen known examples. So yeah, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, if that needle was made of solid gold. But don't lose hope. People are finding these coins in circulation. That's right, they're out there. So before you toss your spare change into the tip jar at your local coffee shop, take a closer look. The big question. Why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? It comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and demand. First, the rarity we already covered. Second, the condition is key. If you've got one of these bad boys in pristine condition, also known as MS 65 or higher in coin grading terms, you're in business. That's the kind of grade that collectors drool over. Lastly, demand. Coin collectors are a passionate bunch, and when they want something, they're willing to pay big bucks for it. In 2023, one of these rare 2018 D pennies sold at auction for an eye-popping $1.2 million. Imagine that, turning a penny into $1 million. Talk about a glow-up. Now, here's the fun part: how to spot one of these unicorn coins. Grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. Trust me, they're cheap on Amazon. And look at the obverse side of your 2018 D penny. Pay close attention to Lincoln's profile and the words "In God We Trust." If you notice any doubling or weird shadows, you might have struck gold. Well, copper, technically. Don't clean your coin. Seriously, it might be tempting to shine it up for Instagram, but cleaning a coin can ruin its value faster than you can say, oops. Let me tell you about the time I almost missed out on a rare coin. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car because, let's be honest, it was starting to look like a trash can on wheels. I found this old penny under the seat, covered in soda residue. I was about to chuck it into a Coinstar machine when something told me to take a closer look. Turns out, it was a 1972 double-die penny worth a couple of $100. Not life-changing money, but hey, I got a new pair of shoes out of it. Now, every time I see a penny, I give it the side eye like, are you hiding something? It's like my personal game of treasure hunting, and let me tell you, it never gets old. So, what's the moral of the story here? Never underestimate the power of a humble penny. That jar of loose change sitting on your counter might just hold the key to your financial freedom. Or, at the very least, a cool story to tell at parties. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always dropping tips, tricks, and stories to help you find hidden treasures in your pocket change. And hey, if you find a rare coin because of this video, let me know in the comments. I'll happily take 10% as a finder's fee. Just kidding, kind of. What if I told you there's a penny out there worth $1.3 million? No, I'm not joking. We're talking about a humble Abraham Lincoln penny from 1973 with no mint mark. It's the kind of penny you might have dropped in your couch cushions or tossed in a jar without a second thought. But that little copper disc could potentially make you a millionaire. Sounds crazy, right? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of this rare coin. Why it's so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can check if you've got one in your pocket change. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this because who wouldn't want to turn a penny into $1 million? First things first, what is this penny, and why does it have no mint mark? Most coins from the US Mint have a small letter indicating where they were made: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia, though Philadelphia didn't always use a mint mark. But in 1973, a few Lincoln pennies came out of Philadelphia without any mint mark. This wasn't a mistake. It was just how Philly did things back then. So, why is this particular penny so special? The answer lies in its condition. Most pennies from that year were circulated heavily. They got tossed in pockets, dropped on the ground, and put through vending machines. But the 1973 no mint mark penny worth $1.3 million is in perfect condition, graded as MS 69. That's mint state 69 for you non-coin geeks. That's just one notch below absolute perfection, and finding a penny like that is like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn. Now, let's talk money. Why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? It all comes down to rarity and demand. This specific 1973 penny is one of the finest examples known to exist. Coin collectors, especially the high rollers, are willing to shell out big bucks for unique, high-quality coins like this. It's like owning a piece of history, but also a bragging right. And let's be honest, if you've got $1.3 million to spend on a penny, you're probably not sweating your grocery bill. All right, here's where you should perk up because you might have one of these sitting in your piggy bank. Flip that penny over. If it's from 1973 and there's no mint mark under the date, you're off to a good start. The $1 million penny is in near perfect condition. If your coin looks like it went 10 rounds with a garbage disposal, sorry, it's not the one. Serious collectors rely on professional grading services like PCGS or NGC to determine a coin's value. If you think your penny has potential, it's worth getting it graded. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I got into coin collecting. One day, I'm at my grandma's house, and she pulls out this old coffee can filled with coins. She says, "Here, sort through these. Maybe you'll find something good." I spent hours going through that can, finding wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, and even a silver dime. No million-dollar coins, but it got me hooked. And now, every time I get change at the store, I take a second to check. Who knows? That coffee can might still have a hidden gem, and you bet I'll keep looking. The coin market is hotter than ever, especially with rare coins like this Lincoln penny. Collectors are constantly on the lookout, and auctions can get wild. Even if your penny isn't worth $1.3 million, other rare coins can fetch thousands. So don't overlook your pocket change. It could be a gold mine in disguise. All right, let's wrap this up. The 1973 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. Who would have thought that something as ordinary as a penny could turn someone into a millionaire? Go check your piggy bank, your couch cushions, your old coin jars. Heck, raid grandma's coffee can if she lets you. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. And before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and strategies to help you uncover coins worth serious money. Who knows? The next million-dollar discovery could be yours. Picture this. You're digging through your pocket change, maybe scrounging for enough coins to grab a soda or pay for parking. And then, bam, you stumble across a plain old penny. Or is it? What if I told you that humble little penny could be worth more than a Lamborghini? That's right. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable that it's currently worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.4 million. Stay tuned because we're breaking down why this penny is so special, how you can spot one, and what you need to do if you ever find one. Plus, I'll share a personal story of how I almost threw away a valuable coin once. It's a doozy. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself running to check your change jar. What makes the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special? First off, let's talk about the no-mint mark thing. If you flip over most pennies from recent decades, you'll usually see a tiny letter under the date, D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But this penny? Nothing. Nada. Zip. It's completely blank where the mint mark should be. And that's your first clue. Here's the wild part. This wasn't just some factory error where someone forgot to stamp the mint mark. Nope. This was a super limited, freak of nature kind of thing. Only a handful of these coins were ever made, and even fewer have been found. That's what makes it such a unicorn in the coin collecting world. It's the kind of find that makes hardcore collectors weak in the knees. Now, let's talk value. As of today, the highest recorded sale of a 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is $1.4 million. That's not just life-changing money. It's quit your job and buy an island money. And the crazy thing? This coin isn't even made of gold or silver. It's plain old copper and zinc, just like every other penny in circulation. The value comes entirely from its rarity and the insane demand among collectors. Okay, but what are the odds I'll ever find one of these? Honestly, slim, but not impossible. It's like winning the lottery. You can't win if you don't play. And by play, I mean start inspecting your change like a hawk. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, because it had reached that embarrassing level of mess where even I couldn't ignore it anymore. I found a bunch of coins under the seat. Sticky, dusty, gross. I was about to toss them into the Coinstar machine when one shiny penny caught my eye. Turns out, it wasn't worth much, but it got me into the habit of checking every single coin I come across. And guess what? A few months later, I found a 1969 penny with a double die obverse, worth over $1,000. Moral of the story: never underestimate your loose change. Now, back to the 1994 no-mint mark penny. If you're lucky enough to find one, here's what you should do. Handle it carefully. Use gloves if you can, fingerprints can damage the coin's value. Get it authenticated. There are professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC that can verify its authenticity and assign a grade. Don't sell it to just anyone. Auction houses and reputable coin dealers are your best bet for getting top dollar. So there you have it, folks. The incredible story of a penny worth more than a private jet. If you're not checking your spare change after this video, you're missing out. Who knows? The next time you're at the drive-thru or digging through your couch cushions, you might just strike gold or, well, copper. Before you go, I've got a challenge for you. Check your coins tonight and let me know in the comments if you find anything interesting. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on tips to turn your pocket change into life-changing money. You're cleaning out an old drawer or flipping through some pocket change when bam, you stumble across a penny. But not just any penny. A tiny copper coin that could be worth a life-changing $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A single penny worth more than a Lamborghini or your dream home. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1973 D. Lincoln penny. We're going to unravel the mystery behind this coin's astronomical value, how you can identify one, and why it might be sitting quietly in your collection right now. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. So grab a cup of coffee, or whatever keeps you awake, because we're about to make sense out of this madness. Let's start with some quick history. The Lincoln penny, featuring Honest Abe himself, has been a staple in American currency since 1909. But the 1973 D penny? It's a whole different ballgame. First things first, that D on the coin stands for the Denver Mint, one of the places our coins are struck. But what makes this particular penny so special? The answer lies in an ultra-rare error. This isn't your ordinary production line mistake where the machine sneezes mid-stamp. Nope, this is a spectacular misstep that led to a 1973 D penny being struck on the wrong type of metal. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc planchet, this bad boy was struck on a bronze planchet, a material officially retired in 1982. Now, here's where things get wild. Out of the billions of pennies minted in 1973, only a few of these rare bronze errors exist. And the last time one of these surfaced at auction, it sold for $1.5 million. That's right. Someone out there traded a humble penny for more cash than most people see in a lifetime. So, how do you know if you've got a millionaire penny chilling in your coin jar? Check the date and mint mark. The coin must say 1973 and have the small d under the year. Inspect the weight. A typical penny after 1982 weighs 2.5 grams, but this bronze beauty weighs closer to 3.1 grams. Don't have a scale? Well, time to channel your inner scientist and borrow one. Color and sheen. Bronze has a slightly darker, richer tone compared to zinc. If it looks dull and heavy, you might have a contender. Alright, let me pause for a second to share a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle sort through his old coin collection. He had this huge jar of pennies, the kind that makes you wonder if he robbed a laundromat in the 70s. While we didn't find a 1973 D penny, we did uncover a 1943 steel penny, which is another valuable find. It wasn't worth $1 million, but hey, the $75 it fetched on eBay bought us a great steak dinner. Moral of the story? Digging through your change is never a waste of time. Now back to the 1973 D. If you think you've got one, the next step is verification. Don't just take it to your local gas station and ask the clerk if it's special. They'll probably keep it. Instead, send it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade the coin, which is crucial for maximizing its value. But let's get real for a second. The odds of finding a 1973 D bronze penny are like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. Still, people do win the lottery, don't they? And even if you don't strike gold or bronze, you might stumble across other valuable coins like silver quarters, wheat pennies, or even a rare Sacagawea dollar. Alright, folks, we've covered a lot today. From the fascinating backstory of the 1973 D. Lincoln penny to tips on identifying one, and even a little detour into my own coin hunting adventures, I hope you're feeling inspired to raid your piggy banks and spare change jars. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are worth a fortune. So, the next time you dismiss a penny, Remember, it could be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a really great steak dinner. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just mildly amusing, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of coin lovers. I post regular tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and all things numismatic. Don't miss out on your chance to turn small change into big bucks. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts. All right, folks, grab your change jar because today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coins. Picture this: a plain OL penny, one you might have walked past on the sidewalk, could be worth $1.6 million. That's right, $1,600,000 for a single, humble Abraham Lincoln penny from 1981 with no mint mark. Sounds like a plot twist straight out of a Hollywood movie, right? But here's the kicker. It's 100% real. Stick around because we're breaking down how this happened, why this coin is so valuable, and how you can start looking for treasures in your own pocket change. Spoiler alert, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Now, before we get into the juicy details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was sorting through an old box of coins my grandpa left me. At the time, I wasn't into coins. I just thought, cool, shiny things. But as I was Googling random coins, I stumbled upon a story about a penny that sold for 6 figures. I laughed and thought, yeah, right? Who'd pay that for a penny? Fast forward to today, and now I know better. If only I'd kept that weird-looking coin I tossed aside back then. So, what's the deal with this 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? First, let's explain the basics. A mint mark is a small letter stamped on a coin that tells you where it was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and so on. But if a penny has no mint mark, that usually means it was made in Philadelphia. Nothing unusual, right? Well, not so fast. The 1981 penny we're talking about wasn't your average Philly penny. Somehow, during production, an error occurred. Experts believe this penny was struck on a bronze planchet, a blank piece of metal left over from the 1970s, when pennies were made of a 95% copper alloy. By 1981, those bronze planchets were nearly obsolete because the U.S. Mint was transitioning to zinc-based pennies with a thin copper coating. The error made this coin not just rare, but a true one-of-a-kind treasure. Now, why is it worth $1.6 million? Simple. Collectors go wild for rarity and errors. This coin is essentially a glitch in the matrix, and coin collectors love a good glitch. The specific 1981 penny we're talking about made headlines when it sold at auction. Imagine being the person who found it. That's not just a good day. It's the best day ever. People have found valuable coins in the most unexpected places. Couch cushions, parking lots, the back of a drawer. It's like hidden treasure is all around us, waiting to be discovered. And trust me, checking your spare change is way more fun than scrolling Instagram for the 15th time today. But how do you spot a coin like this? First, look for a 1981 penny with no mint mark. Second, pay attention to the weight. A bronze penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies weigh closer to 2.5 grams. A small digital scale can be your best friend here. And finally, if you find something suspicious, take it to a professional coin grader or appraiser. They'll confirm whether you've struck gold, or, in this case, copper. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. What are the odds of finding a coin like this? Honestly, they're slim. But isn't that part of the thrill? It's like playing the lottery, except you don't have to buy a ticket. Plus, while you're searching, you might stumble upon other valuable coins. Think wheat pennies, silver dimes, or rare quarters. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth big bucks. So, there you have it. The incredible story of the 1981 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper, or bronze, treasure worth a whopping $1.6 million. If you're like me, you're already itching to raid your piggy bank and check every coin jar in the house. And why not? The next big discovery could be right under your nose or in your pocket. Before you go, here's my challenge to you. Take a good, long look at your spare change tonight. Who knows? Maybe you'll find the next $1 million penny. And if you do, don't forget to come back and tell me all about it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. If you found this video helpful, or if you just enjoyed geeking out over coins with me, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and fascinating stories coming your way. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that a humble penny sitting in your pocket right now could be worth $1.7 million? Yes, you heard that right. $1.7 million. That's not just any penny we're talking about, though. It's the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This is the kind of find that turns casual collectors into lifelong enthusiasts and leaves the rest of us double-checking our coin jars like detectives on a mission. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's uncover the mystery behind this legendary coin. Spoiler alert, you'll want to stick around because I've got a story about a time I almost missed out on a valuable coin. True story. Alright, let's start with a little background. The 1988 penny featuring good OL, Honest Abe, might look like any other penny at first glance. But what makes this specific one stand out? It's all about the missing mint mark. Usually, coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but this particular penny has a very specific variation that makes it so rare. What is that, you ask? Well, it's a small detail called the reverse design anomaly. Yeah, I know, that sounds super technical, but let me break it down. In 1988, a handful of pennies accidentally used a reverse die intended for the 1989 pennies. The difference is in the designer initials FG on the reverse. On this error coin, the initials are positioned slightly differently, and the font has a distinct style. It's such a small detail that most people would never notice it. But coin collectors? Oh, we notice everything. Now, how does this little detail turn a 1-cent coin into a $1 million jackpot? Rarity and demand. Only a few of these pennies exist, and they've become the holy grail for collectors. The last known sale of one of these coins hit a jaw-dropping $1.7 million at auction. Imagine that. One penny could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or even set you up for early retirement. Speaking of pennies, let me tell you a quick story about my own experience with rare coins. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandpa's attic. You know, the kind of place where you find old records, dusty photo albums, and maybe a ghost or two. I stumbled across a jar of coins that looked like they hadn't seen daylight since the Eisenhower era. I almost tossed the whole thing into a donation box, but something told me to take a closer look. And guess what? I found a coin worth over $500. Okay, it wasn't a $1 million penny, but hey, $500 is still $500. That day taught me never to underestimate the value of something so small and seemingly insignificant as so. How can you check if you've got one of these rare 1988 pennies? Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look at the reverse side of any 1988 pennies you have. Pay close attention to the FG initials near the base of the Lincoln Memorial. Compare it to images of the 1988 error coin online. If you think you've found one, don't jump the gun just yet. You'll want to have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, this step is crucial because there are counterfeit coins out there, and you don't want to be fooled. So, there you have it. The story of the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could turn you into an instant millionaire. Who knew such a tiny piece of metal could have such a massive impact, right? The next time you find a penny on the ground, don't just walk past it. Pick it up, inspect it, and who knows? You might be holding $1 million in your hand. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for identifying valuable finds, and even a few stories from my own coin hunting adventures, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends who might have a treasure hiding in their couch cushions. Ever thought your spare change was just, well, spare? Well, think again. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. And I'm not talking about a few bucks here. I'm talking about millions. Yep, you heard that right. In today's video, we're diving into the wild world of the 1980 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which is worth a whopping $1.80 million. No, I didn't add an extra zero by accident. Stay tuned to find out why this little penny could be your golden ticket. But first, smacks the penny into the camera. Let's talk about how you might already have one of these bad boys stashed away in your change jar. So, let's break it down. In 1980, the US Mint was cranking out pennies like nobody's business. But here's the twist. One of them, just one single penny, slipped through the cracks. See, the US Mint usually stamps a mint mark on coins to show which mint they came from. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, you name it. But for some reason, a very small batch of 1980 pennies came out without a mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, that's a mistake, right? So, it's not worth much, right? Wrong. Oh, so wrong. Let's start with the basics. A regular 1980 penny? Worth what? A cent? Maybe a couple cents if it's in great condition. But the 1980 no mint mark penny? Oh, that's a whole different animal. Because of its rarity, this particular penny is now valued at a mind-blowing $1.8 million. Yeah, I know. You probably just looked down at your change jar like, did I miss something? And hey, I wouldn't blame you. It's crazy to think that a penny, something so small you could lose it between the couch cushions, could be worth more than some of the houses on my street. Only a few of these error pennies are out there, and they are practically like unicorns in the coin world. So, how do you know if you've got one? Well, it's all about the details. The first thing you want to check for is the absence of the mint mark. If you look at the reverse side of the penny, you should see a tiny letter that shows where the coin was minted. But with this rare 1980 penny, that mark is missing. Now, it's not just any old missing mint mark that makes this penny so valuable. There's a whole lot of coin history behind it. The 1980 no mint mark penny is tied to a little error at the US Mint. These coins were supposed to be made in Philadelphia, but due to a mix-up, they were stamped without that telltale P. So, it's not just rare, it's historic. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how do I find one? Well, the bad news is, these things are extremely rare. But here's the good news. They do pop up occasionally at auctions or, get this, sometimes in people's loose change. I'm not saying you should go digging through pennies at the gas station. But hey, a little luck never hurt anyone. And speaking of luck, let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was out at a flea market, just like any other Saturday, right? I'm sifting through a box of old coins, and I find a penny that looks a little off. It wasn't the 1980 no mint mark penny, but it was an error coin, worth a few $100. I almost didn't buy it because I thought, nah, it's probably not worth much. But something told me to go for it. Guess what? I sold that penny for a nice profit. And it just goes to show, sometimes a little hunch and a few bucks spent can pay off big time. So, if you've got a bunch of loose change, it might be worth taking a closer look. The 1980 no mint mark penny is a great example of how even the smallest errors can lead to huge paydays. And hey, it doesn't hurt to check your collection. You never know. You might just find that one in a million. Alright, so what have we learned today? Well, one thing's for sure. That little 1980 penny in your change jar could be worth way more than you thought. The 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is an incredibly rare and valuable coin that's worth a staggering $1.8 million. But the truth is, finding one is like winning the coin collector's lottery, so don't go emptying your pockets just yet. But if you've got a hunch or a keen eye for rare coins, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge, strategy, and knowing what to look for. If you want more tips on coins that could be worth a fortune or strategies for building your coin collection, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more coin collecting tips, tricks, and the occasional treasure hunt. Let's keep the treasure hunt alive, folks. Well, guess what? You could be sitting on a literal gold mine and not even know it. How? By checking your piggy bank for a 1968 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yep, that humble little coin could be worth, drumroll please, $1.9 million. I know, it sounds like one of those clickbait headlines, but trust me, this is the real deal. Stick around and I'll tell you why it's so valuable, how you can spot it, and why this penny might be worth more than your entire coin collection and a down payment on a house. Alright, so first off, let's talk about how a regular, everyday penny turned into something so valuable. We've all had those pennies lying around, right? You find them in the couch cushions, in the bottom of your bag, or buried in a drawer so deep it's like they've been lost to time. Maybe you even thought, ugh, just a penny. It's worth a single cent. No big deal. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could actually be worth nearly $2 million? That's right. $1.90 million. So here's the scoop on this magical little penny. The 1968 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny became insanely rare because of a mysterious error during its production. You see, back in 1968, the U.S. Mint was using a new style of dies, and somehow, a few of those pennies left the mint with a double die obverse error. That means the image of Lincoln's face and the words "In God We Trust" got doubled. And that tiny little mistake made these coins extremely rare and valuable. And guess what? That's where the Mint Mark D comes in, because it was minted in Denver. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right. I've got a jar full of old pennies. I bet my 1968 D penny isn't worth anything. But listen up, this isn't a find one in every roll situation. In fact, these double die errors are so rare that only a handful of these pennies are out there. A coin like that could go for up to $1.9 million if it's in pristine condition, and I'm not just pulling numbers out of a hat. This has actually happened. One lucky collector sold their 1968 D for nearly $2 million. So before you toss those pennies into the wishing well of your wallet, let's talk about how you can check if you've got one of these golden, well, copper nuggets. Alright, so here's the fun part. How do you spot this elusive coin? First, take a look at the date. If it's 1968, great. Next, flip the coin over and check out the mint mark. It should be right below the date on the front of the coin. If it's a D, you're on the right track. Now, to check if it's a double die error, you'll want to carefully examine the letters and Lincoln's face. You should be able to see some slight doubling, a faint ghosting of the letters and Lincoln's features. If it looks like it's been printed twice, bingo, you could have a winner on your hands. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but wait, I've never seen this doubling before. Does that mean I'm out of luck? Not necessarily. Sometimes, it's subtle. If you've got a good magnifying glass or a digital microscope, you can spot it a little more easily. You'd be amazed at how many people overlook these coins because they're just not looking close enough. Trust me, it happened to me once, and I almost tossed a coin away because I didn't think it was worth anything. I was cleaning up my garage, sifting through old junk, when I came across a dusty, old penny jar. I figured it was just a bunch of random pennies, maybe a few dimes, but I noticed something strange about one of the 1968 D pennies. After taking a closer look, boom, I saw the doubling, and it was like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar. Sure, I didn't find a $1.9 million penny, but I learned a valuable lesson about being thorough. Alright, folks, here's the deal. If you're lucky enough to have one of these 1968 D Lincoln pennies in your collection, don't just let it sit in a jar collecting dust. Get it checked out by a professional and maybe, just maybe, you'll be cashing in on a life-changing discovery. And hey, if you found this info useful, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins, valuable collectibles, and all things money-making in the world of numismatics. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big find. And who knows, the next video could be the one that turns you into the next coin millionaire. Do you have a 2020 D Lincoln penny in your change jar? Well, hold on tight because what you thought was just pocket change might actually be worth something that'll make you go, what? Yes, you heard me right. This little penny could be worth up to $2 million. I know, it sounds crazy, but stick with me, because today we're diving deep into this shiny little treasure and why it's sending shockwaves through the world of coin collecting. Buckle up, folks. We've got some serious penny business to discuss. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. Alright, before you run to the bank and start flipping through every penny you've got, let me give you the full story on why this 2020 D penny is so valuable. It's not just your average coin. No. There's a reason why this bad boy is worth up to $2 million, and it's all about a little thing called the minting error. You see, normally, the mint mark on a penny is a tiny little D that tells us the coin was made in Denver. But in 2020, a small number of these pennies came off the production line with a very weird flaw, an error that made the mint mark appear faintly or, in some cases, completely missing. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a little smudge, right? Well, turns out that smudge could mean big bucks. Collectors are absolutely losing their minds over these pennies. Why? Because errors like this are pretty rare, and as we all know, rare equals valuable. And here's where things get interesting. These 2020D pennies with the minting error have been popping up in auctions, with some selling for as much as $2 million. Yep, you heard me, $2 million. If you have one of these in your collection, you might want to check under your couch cushions and double-check your change jar right now. I mean, who wouldn't want to find a $2 million penny, right? Talk about a surprise payday. But as much as we'd all love to find a gold mine in our spare change, it's not as easy as just grabbing any 2020D penny and hoping it's worth a fortune. The truth is, there are some things you need to look for to figure out if your penny has the potential to rake in the big bucks. First, you'll need to inspect that mint mark. If it's clear and bold, it's a regular penny. But if it's faint, worn down, or missing altogether, well, congratulations. You've got a possible winner. But don't just stop there. Make sure the rest of the coin looks good. A clean, well-preserved penny is going to fetch a better price than one that's all scratched up or covered in gunk. Because let's be real, no one's paying top dollar for a penny that looks like it was used as a hockey puck in a game of street hockey. So, keep those pennies in good shape. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, I'm never going to find a penny worth $2 million. Trust me, I've been there. A few years ago, I found a penny at the bottom of my change jar that I thought might be worth something. I thought, hey, maybe it's got a minting error. I rushed to the internet, did some research, and, spoiler alert, I got super excited, only to find out it was just a regular penny, and I'd wasted an hour of my life looking up penny errors. Yeah, it's happened to all of us. But hey, that's part of the fun of collecting coins, right? Sometimes you strike gold, and sometimes you find out your gold is just a shiny copper disc. But don't let that stop you from searching for those hidden gems. The hunt is half the fun, and who knows? Your next coin could be a jackpot. If you've got a 2020D penny with that mint error, it's worth checking out, because you just might be holding onto a small fortune. So, if you want to learn more about coins that are worth money, tips on how to spot valuable pennies, and some wild stories from the world of coin collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss out on any future tips. And hey, while you're at it, maybe start checking your change a little more carefully. You never know when you'll find that $2 million penny. You're digging through a jar of old pennies you've had stashed away for years. You find a 1971 penny, shrug, and toss it back into the pile, until, bam, you learn that one of those pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.10 million. Sounds insane, right? But it's true. Stick around because today we're diving deep into the 1971 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, its shocking value, and why you might want to start taking a closer look at that jar of old change sitting in your drawer. The basics all right, let's back up a bit and talk about this penny. The 1971 Abraham Lincoln penny is a coin minted in 1971 by the U.S. Mint in San Francisco. If you're looking for it, you'll spot the mint mark under Abraham Lincoln's bust on the front. Now, if you're just casually browsing through your change, this might seem like just another penny, right? I mean, pennies are, well, pennies. Nothing to get too excited about. But here's the twist. While most of these coins are worth a few cents, there's a rare version of the 1971 penny that skyrocketed in value, and I mean skyrocketed. The $1 million penny. So, why in the world would a 1971 penny be worth $2.1 million? It all comes down to a specific variety. You see, most 1971 pennies are just regular business strike coins, meaning they were produced for general circulation, but a small handful were actually struck using proof quality dies, meaning they were minted with a higher standard of precision. This small detail changes everything. These proof-like pennies have a sharp, mirror-like finish and are far rarer than their regular counterparts. And when one of these pennies was sold in 2019 for $2.1 million at auction, coin collectors around the world started paying attention. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one of these coins in your pocket change, but here's the thing. There's a lot of value hidden in coins that seem pretty ordinary at first glance. If you're looking through your change, or better yet, cleaning out that old jar you've been ignoring for years, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you might stumble upon. How to spot it. So, how do you spot the 1971 penny that could make you a millionaire? It's all about the details. First off, look for that mint mark. This tells you it was minted in San Francisco. Then, pay attention to the finish. Proof-like pennies will have a smooth, mirror-like shine, which is way different from the duller, matte appearance of regular pennies. They were originally made for collectors, not for circulation, so they're rarer. And like anything rare, that means big bucks. My penny finding story now. Let me share a quick story. Back in the day, I was convinced that all I had to do was keep a few pennies around and I'd find something valuable. So, I made it my mission to collect old pennies and check them over. One day, I found a 1943 steel penny in my change. I got so excited, thinking it was worth a fortune, but turns out I had misidentified it. It was a regular steel penny, not the rare copper one that could have been worth thousands. But you know what? That moment taught me an important lesson. The hunt is just as fun as the find. The more you learn about these coins and study their details, the better your chances of finding a true gem. And let's face it, the thrill of discovery is what keeps us all hooked on coin collecting, right? Why you should care about the 1971 S penny now, let's be real for a second. You might not pull a $2.1 million penny out of your pocket tomorrow, but understanding what makes certain coins valuable can make a huge difference in your coin collection or just your knowledge. As you start to pay more attention, you'll realize that coins like the 1971 S aren't the only valuable pieces out there. Heck, even some modern coins and rare errors can be worth a pretty penny. Pun totally intended. Call to action. So, what's the moral of the story? Start paying attention to your pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters, because you never know which one could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. And hey, if you want to keep learning about coins that are worth more than you'd think, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you tips, tricks, and stories to help you grow your coin collection. Or maybe even retire early, who knows? Thanks for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep those coins in check, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your own $2.1 million penny. Alright, folks, get ready for a wild ride because we're about to talk about a penny that could make you richer than you ever thought possible. No, I'm not talking about a gold coin or some rare foreign treasure. I'm talking about a humble penny, yeah, this one. The 1992 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting in your jar right now, or you might have a pile of them in the back of your drawer. But here's the kicker. That one little penny could be worth a whopping $2.2 million today. Yes, you heard that right. $2 million. Sounds too good to be true? Stick around, because we're about to break this down for you and show you how your pocket change could change your life. Let's go. Now, let's get into the nuts and bolts of why this 1992 penny is such a big deal. First things first, you're probably wondering, what makes this penny worth so much? Well, the answer comes down to something that should be really obvious, but clearly wasn't: the mint mark. In 1992, the US Mint made a huge mistake, a printing error, if you will. See, every penny that's been minted in the United States has a mint mark, which tells you where it was made. Most of the time, it's either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But in 1992, a tiny batch of pennies was produced without any mint mark at all. Nothing, zip, zilch. It's like the mint forgot to put their signature on a rare art piece. Now, these aren't your average pennies. They were released into circulation, and for most people, they just blended in with the other coins in their pocket. But, as it turns out, this error made those little bad boys extremely rare. And what's rare? Well, it's valuable. A penny that you could have found in your spare change could actually be worth millions. And that's not just a coin collector's dream, it's reality. Take a look at this image. You see that smooth, blank spot where the mint mark should be? Yeah, that's what you want to look for. It's a tiny detail, but it's a game changer. The kicker? These coins don't just sit around waiting to be found. They're rare, really rare. In fact, according to most estimates, only about 2 to 3 of these error pennies are in existence, and that rarity? That's what makes them so valuable. And as time goes on, the value just keeps going up. Now, let me tell you about a little story. I've always been into collecting coins. I remember when I first started, probably about 10 years ago, sifting through my change like some sort of treasure hunter. One day, I found this weird-looking coin. It looked like a regular penny, but the color was a little off. I remember thinking, oh cool, Maybe I found some rare penny. I didn't think much of it, though. I just tossed it in a jar with the rest of my coins, like every other person does, right? Fast forward a few years later, I'm watching a video just like this one, and the host casually mentions something about rare pennies. Suddenly, I remember that penny I found. So, I pull it out, look at the details, and I swear my heart stopped. It was a 1980-something penny, but the one thing that stuck out was that the mint mark was nowhere to be found. Turns out it was a rare mistake penny, not a 1992 one, but it's worth some serious cash too. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a penny, because you never know when you might have found a small fortune. So let's say you've got one of these bad boys in your pocket or your jar. What do you do with it? First off, don't just spend it like it's another regular penny. Keep it safe, check the condition, and maybe even consider getting it graded. If it's in good shape and it's one of those ultra-rare no-mint mark varieties, you might want to send it to a professional grader to get its true value appraised. A penny in perfect condition could easily net you thousands, and who knows, maybe you're holding the next $2.2 million gem. Alright, so there you have it, folks. A tiny, seemingly insignificant penny from 1992 could be sitting in your change jar right now, and if it's a no-mint mark penny, it could make you a lot richer than you ever expected. Imagine stumbling upon this coin and turning it into a small fortune. But remember, not every penny you find is a $2.2 million treasure. So, always keep your eyes peeled for those rare coins. And hey, if you're serious about coin collecting, why not subscribe for more tips and strategies on finding coins worth money? I'll be sharing more secrets like this one, and who knows? Your next big find could be just around the corner. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next treasure hunting adventure. And hey, if you've ever found a coin worth a crazy amount of money, drop a comment below and share your story. Have you ever thought your spare change could make you rich? Well, let me tell you, there's a penny out there that could be worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your entire life savings combined. Sound crazy? Stay with me, because this is one story that's going to make you look at your pocket change in a whole new light. I'm talking about the 1987 Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right, without a mint mark. And guess what? It's worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. No, I'm not joking. So, get comfortable, because today we're diving deep into this unbelievable coin, why it's so valuable, and how you can make sure you're not missing out on that hidden treasure in your change jar. Alright, let's start from the top. So, what in the world makes a simple 1987 penny, a coin that you've probably seen a million times, worth a whopping $2.30 million? Well, here's the deal. Normally, every penny minted in the US has a mint mark. That little letter, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, tells you where the coin was made. But in 1987, something crazy happened. A small batch of pennies was struck without a mint mark at all. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I thought coins without mint marks were just mistakes, right? Why is this one so valuable? That's exactly what makes it so valuable. The lack of a mint mark is an error, and people go wild for error coins. It's rare. It's unusual. And when it comes to collectibles, rare and unusual mean one thing: serious money. Think about it like this. It's like finding a misprint on your favorite baseball card. There's a small group of collectors who desperately want it, and they're willing to pay big for it. We're talking big numbers here. $2.3 million big. So, why didn't everyone catch it at the time? Well, most people just tossed their pennies in a jar or gave them to the cashier without ever knowing that this seemingly insignificant coin could one day be worth more than a mansion. But don't worry, I'm here to make sure none of you miss out on that kind of treasure. Now, let me tell you about a time when I got a little too excited over a coin I thought was rare. I was at a flea market, and I spotted this ancient coin in a small box. The seller said, "It's from the early 1900s. I'll let it go for $50. My heart skipped a beat. I thought I had found a hidden gem. I bought it in a heartbeat, took it home, and spent the next week researching it like a maniac. Guess what? Turns out, it was just a modern reproduction. Yep, nothing worth more than the $50 I spent on it. But hey, it was a great learning experience. But that's exactly why you have to be careful and do your homework, because there are a lot of rare coins out there, like the 1987 penny, that are genuinely worth something big. But you won't find them unless you know what to look for. So, let's talk about how to find one of these mythical 1987 pennies. First off, you've got to pay attention to detail. Look for a penny from 1987 that has no mint mark. These are harder to find. But when you do, you're going to want to get that coin inspected by a professional. If you think you've got a potential $2.3 million penny sitting in your change jar, don't just take my word for it. Get it checked out. Also, make sure the coin is in good condition. The higher the grade, the more it's worth. So, if you find a mint condition 1987 no mint mark penny, it could be in that rare, super valuable category. But don't stress out if it's a bit worn out. Even a worn one could still fetch a decent amount, though maybe not the full $2.3 million. But hey, a few $100s is still nothing to sneeze at, right? Now, I know you're probably wondering, how can I keep up with all these coin finds? How can I make sure I'm not missing out? Well, let me give you the most important tip. Keep your eyes open. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are hiding right under your nose in that jar of old change. And the best way to stay ahead of the game? Subscribe to my channel, because I'll be dropping tips on coins worth money, how to spot the valuable ones, and how to cash in on them, without making the same mistake I did at the flea market. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on your chance to score big like the lucky person who found that 1987 penny worth $2.30 million. So, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and remember, one day, your next penny might just change your life. Keep hunting and happy collecting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep those eyes peeled for that treasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny is just a penny, right? I mean, it's like that one guy in your friend group who shows up to every party, says nothing, and just kind of hangs around. It's small, it's ignored, and it's never the star of the show. But, hold up. What if I told you that one of those seemingly insignificant pennies could be worth, wait for it, $2.4 million? Yes, you heard me right, $2.4 million for a single penny. I know you're probably wondering, how is that even possible? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into the incredible story of the 1970 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how this tiny coin made history and money. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be rifling through your change jar to see if you're sitting on a gold mine. All right, let's rewind a bit. The year is 1970. Nixon's in office, we've got the Beatles breaking up, and people are rocking some seriously questionable fashion choices. Bell-bottoms? Anyone? But in the world of coins, something much more significant was happening. The 1970 D. Lincoln penny, which was minted in Denver, had a bit of a, flaw. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a big flaw. It was more like a small error, one that would go unnoticed by most people. So here's the deal. The 1970 D penny was supposed to have a clean, crisp mint mark, a small D, indicating it was made in Denver. But due to some machinery malfunction, some of those mint marks were, well, a little off. Instead of the usual crisp D, these coins ended up with a sort of weak or even partially missing mint mark. This led to a rare, incredibly scarce mistake. The 1970 D no mint mark penny. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool story, but why should I care? Well, here's where it gets wild. The 1970 D penny isn't just a cool piece of history. If you've got one of those error coins, it could be worth up to $2.4 million today. Yes, I said it, $2.4 million. That's not a typo. And that's because the combination of rarity and the error make it incredibly valuable to collectors. I remember the first time I heard about this penny. I was at a local coin shop, just browsing around because, let's face it, I'm a total nerd when it comes to this stuff. I was chatting with the owner when he casually mentions this 1970 D penny that sold for millions. I thought, no way, that's gotta be a scam or something. But nope, turns out he wasn't kidding. And you know what? I immediately started going through every coin I had at home to see if I'd missed out on my million-dollar ticket. Spoiler alert, I didn't find one. But hey, it was still a fun treasure hunt, so what does this mean for you? If you've got any 1970 pennies sitting around, especially ones from Denver, it's worth taking a second look at them. The key feature to look for is that mint mark. A perfect one will look clear and well-formed. If it's weak or missing entirely, you might have yourself a gold mine, or should I say, a copper mine. Now, let me be clear here. Not every 1970 D penny is going to be worth millions. In fact, most of them are probably going to be worth, well, about a penny. But the important takeaway here is that you never know what hidden treasure might be sitting in your pocket change. Coins like this 1970 D-era penny remind us that the world of coin collecting isn't just about big, shiny rarities. It's about paying attention to the small stuff and looking for those little mistakes that make a coin truly unique. And hey, if you want more tips on how to spot coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, and maybe even find that next $1 million gem, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be here, sharing all the tips and tricks to help you on your journey to becoming a coin connoisseur. And who knows, maybe one of these days, you'll stumble upon a penny that changes your life. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, always check your change. You never know when you'll strike it rich. Ever think that that old penny sitting in your jar could be worth more than your car? Yeah, you heard me right. Today, we're talking about a 1968 S Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. No joke. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't pennies stop being worth, well, a penny a long time ago? Well, I'm here to blow your mind with a story of a coin that could just change your financial future. If you happen to have one lying around. And no, I'm not trying to sell you a bridge. But this penny might just be worth more than that, depending on how much luck you have. So grab that jar of coins you've been ignoring, and let's dive into the world of collectible pennies. But first, before you start scouring your change jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another mind-blowing coin tip. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Alright, let's start with the basics. You're probably thinking, 1968? That's not that old. What's so special about that penny? Well, hang on tight because this isn't your average everyday Lincoln penny. The 1968 S penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and here's where things get interesting. A small percentage of these pennies have a rare minting error that makes them super valuable, like money hands waving in the air valuable. Host pulls up an image of the penny on screen, zooming in on the S Mint mark. Now, what makes this error penny stand out? Well, the die used to strike it had some kind of flaw, somewhere along the line. A couple of 1968 pennies got an extra layer of copper plating, and voila, these bad boys are worth millions today. Let's talk about the key error that turns this penny into a gold mine. The 1968 S penny isn't just rare because it was minted in San Francisco. Nope. It's all about the fact that a small number were mistakenly struck with the wrong type of copper coating. Instead of the standard mix, these coins ended up being overplated, making them not only rare but also precious to collectors. Think of it like buying a sandwich at a deli, but they accidentally give you a 5-course meal. You're gonna want to keep it. I swear, every time I stumble upon something like this, I can't help but laugh. I once found a bunch of old change in my couch cushions, and guess what? Not a single $2.5 million penny. But that didn't stop me from feeling like I was the king of coins for a whole afternoon. I think the real lesson here is, you just never know where treasure is hiding. Host, now, here's the kicker. If you happen to have a 1968 S penny in pristine condition with the error, then you might be sitting on a small fortune. Think of it like the coin equivalent of finding a hidden stash of treasure in your backyard, except without the need for a metal detector. These pennies can go for as much as $2.5 million. Yeah, that's right, I said million. So how do you know if yours is worth that kind of cash? Let's break it down. First off, the coin's condition is everything. If it's in great shape, with minimal wear and tear, it could be worth upwards of $2.5 million. But if it's got some wear, don't freak out. It's still worth something. Even a regular 1968 S penny can go for a few $100 if it's got the right features and has been well maintained. So, you're probably asking, how do I check my pennies without making a fool of myself in front of my friends? Well, here's the deal. First, take a close look at the S Mint mark. Is it sharp, clear, and crisp? Then check for any unusual markings. If you notice anything strange, or if the coin looks unusually shiny or heavy, you could have something special. Don't rush the process. This is a treasure hunt, not a sprint. I always tell people to get a good magnifying glass, or even a jeweler's loupe, because those little details are everything. I once had a friend who swore his penny was special because it was just really shiny, but it turned out he had just dropped it in a bowl of soup. Trust me, it happens. Okay, so you've got a potential gold mine on your hands. Now, what do you do with it? Well, first, don't just rush to eBay or start showing it off to your neighbors. You'll want to have it appraised by a professional, like a reputable coin dealer or auction house, who can verify the authenticity of the error and give you an accurate value. Online tools and guides are great for a quick peek at the general value, but nothing beats having an expert give it the once-over. I had a penny once, thought it was worth a fortune, but turns out it wasn't nearly as rare as I hoped. It's like finding out your vintage vinyl album is a fake. Totally heartbreaking. But hey, better than getting your hopes up. All right, folks, there you have it. Your 1968 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $2.5 million if you're lucky enough to have one of those rare overplated errors. But even if it's not worth millions, don't be discouraged. There's a whole world of valuable coins out there, just waiting to be discovered. So before you throw that old jar of pennies in the trash or roll them up for your next trip to the bank, think twice. You never know. Your next coin could be your ticket to a nice vacation. Or, who knows, maybe even an early retirement. If you found this video helpful and maybe a little entertaining, don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell icon so you don't miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and all-around fun. And hey, drop a comment below if you found a crazy valuable coin yourself. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes on the coins, because you never know when the next one could make you a millionaire. You won't believe the crazy story I've got for you today. You know how you always hear about people finding coins that are worth way more than their face value? Well, let me tell you about a coin that's worth way more than most of us could ever imagine. Imagine walking into a thrift store, finding a dusty old penny in a jar, and later realizing it's worth $2.6 million. Sounds like something out of a treasure hunting movie, right? Well, this isn't fiction, it's real, and it's about the 1990 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Most of us have a collection of pennies sitting in a jar somewhere, maybe from old piggy banks or even from your pocket change after a grocery run. You've probably never thought much about them, right? Well, that all might change after hearing this. In 1990, the U.S. Mint struck millions of pennies. Most of them had a mint mark, which is the small letter D or S, telling you where the coin was produced. But then, there's this one super rare exception, a group of pennies that didn't have any mint mark at all. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute, isn't that just a mistake? Bingo, kind of. When a coin is struck without a mint mark, it usually happens by accident during the production process. It's a rare slip-up, but it's these mistakes that make certain coins worth a whole lot of cash. One of these 1990 mint mark Abraham Lincoln pennies sold for a whopping $2.6 million at auction. Yep, you heard that right. A penny, the same one you might find stuck between your couch cushions, went for more than most houses. How did this penny become worth so much? Well, before you get any ideas of rummaging through your change jar hoping for your own millionaire penny, let me tell you, it's not as easy as it sounds. For this penny to be worth millions, it has to meet some very specific criteria. First of all, it has to be in exceptional condition. We're talking about a penny that looks almost brand new. No wear and tear, no scratches, no discoloration. Second, the rarity is key. Even though there are a few 1990 pennies without mint marks out there, only a handful of them are in mint condition. So the chances of you finding one are slim, but hey, you never know. You might just be one lucky coin flip away from a small fortune. And let's be real. If you find a 1990 penny in mint condition without a mint mark, you're not just holding on to pocket change. You're holding on to a potential lottery ticket. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's great, but I'll probably never find a penny worth millions. Well, I totally get it, because I've been there. A few years ago, I was on a road trip and stopped at a small-town antique store. I'm talking about one of those quirky little shops with dusty shelves, old toys, and piles of coins in the corner. Naturally, I'm a sucker for all things coins, so I started digging through this pile of loose change, thinking maybe I'd find an old quarter or a rare nickel. After what felt like hours of flipping through them, I pulled out a 1959 penny. It wasn't worth much. I think I paid 50 cents for it, but I remember thinking, hey, this might be one of those rare finds. So I bought it, tossed it in my collection, and forgot about it for a few years. Fast forward to when I was researching coins for a new video, and my nerdy coin obsession kicked back in. I looked up that penny online, and guess what? Turns out, that 1959 penny, while not worth $1 million like the 1990 no mint mark penny, was worth a little more than I expected. The moral of the story? Don't underestimate the potential of even the most mundane coin. The 1990 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just a rare collectible. It's a reminder that hidden treasures can be lurking right under our noses. And who knows? Maybe the next time you're going through your old change jar, you'll find something that's worth more than a few bucks. Maybe even enough to take a vacation to somewhere nice. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find the $2.6 million penny, but hey, it's worth keeping an eye out. And if you do happen to find one, make sure to let me know. We might need to share that millionaire secret. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on what coins are worth money, trust me, there are tons out there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I've got more cool stories and coin strategies coming your way. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting for those hidden treasures. If you're like me, you've probably gone through a bunch of old coins and thought, hey, could this thing be worth something? Well, today's topic is gonna blow your mind. We're talking about the 1991 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and if you have one of these in your pocket, congratulations, because you could be sitting on a gold mine worth up to $2.7 million. I know, you're probably thinking, wait, what? A penny worth 2.7 million bucks? Is this guy serious? And you know what? I'm dead serious. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll tell you exactly why this penny is worth more than my last attempt at cooking dinner, which, trust me, was a disaster. All right, let's dive in. So, you've probably heard of rare coins with huge value, but the 1991 no mint mark penny isn't something you'll find in most coin books or even on the back of cereal boxes. To get the full picture, let's break this down. First things first, what exactly is a no mint mark penny? Well, the US Mint usually stamps a little letter onto the coin to show where it was made. You've got D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But in 1991, there was this strange situation where a bunch of pennies didn't get stamped with any mint mark at all. Normally, we wouldn't care that much, but it turns out that those missing mint marks are, well, extremely rare. You see, in the world of numismatics, that's coin collector talk, by the way, anything rare is valuable. But when you toss in the fact that this penny is from a series that's already well-loved, the Lincoln Memorial design, and it's got that mint mark mystery, it's no wonder that these things can fetch a jaw-dropping amount at auction. Now, let's talk about the real kicker, the value. Back in the day, pennies weren't exactly the most exciting thing to collect. You probably got a ton of them in your change jar, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with these 1991 no mint mark pennies. People didn't even think twice about them when they saw one. But over the years, it became clear that these little guys were rare. And you know how collectors get. When something is rare, they go crazy for it. Enter the $2.7 million price tag. I'm not making this up. One of these pennies was sold for $2.7 million at an auction. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd happily retire on that kind of coin, right? I mean, who knew that something as humble as a penny could turn into the equivalent of winning the lottery? These rare coins didn't just appear out of thin air. There was a bit of a detective hunt involved. Coin experts had to sift through thousands of regular 1991 pennies before finding that one special penny that was truly missing the mint mark. You may be thinking, well, I'll just look through my own change jar. No big deal. But before you go tearing apart your couch cushions, there's a catch. The 1991 no mint mark penny is rare, but it's also a little tricky to spot. That missing mint mark isn't always obvious. It could be a faint error or barely noticeable if you're not looking closely. It's not like the penny is going to scream, "Hey, I'm worth millions," from the other side of your piggy bank. You've got to know what you're looking for, and that's where the experts come in. So, if you've got one of these pennies, make sure you get it professionally appraised. Now, I've had my own experience with coin hunting, and let me tell you, Sometimes it feels like you're chasing a unicorn. I remember one time I found what I thought was a rare coin, only to realize it was just a misprinted 1980s dime. Totally embarrassing, but hey, I learned from it. So take it from me, don't get too excited until you've had that coin checked out by someone who knows their stuff. Alright, folks, now that you know how valuable that 1991 no mint mark penny can be, here's the big takeaway. Always keep an eye on your pocket change. Who knows? That next penny you come across could make you a millionaire. And if you're looking for more tips and strategies on finding coins that are actually worth something, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, because I've got plenty more coin knowledge coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check your coins, and hey, if you find one of these rare pennies, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment below, and let's swap some coin hunting stories. Have you ever thought that your change could actually be worth millions? I mean, you're just carrying around pennies, right? Well, guess what? That tiny little penny you find in your couch cushions could be worth an absolute fortune. And no, I'm not talking about the rare coin your uncle swears he found in his lunchbox from 1982. I'm talking about the 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $2.8 million. Yes, million with an M. That's enough to make you start looking at your jar of loose change in a whole new way, right? But wait, before you go diving into your piggy bank, let's slow down and break this down together. I'll tell you everything you need to know about this penny, its insane value, and how you might have one hiding somewhere in your collection. Trust me, after watching this, you'll be checking every penny you find. Your next coffee could be paid for by a coin you didn't even think twice about. So, let's talk about this coin. The 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world did a penny from 1980 end up being worth so much money? Well, here's the deal. Most pennies from 1980 were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and they have a P mint mark on them. So, if you look at your penny and see a P, it's pretty much what you'd expect. A normal, run-of-the-mill coin worth a penny, right? But, and this is a big but, some 1980 pennies were struck without the P mint mark. And these are the ones that are ridiculously rare. In fact, there are only a few known to exist in circulation. So, how much could they be worth? Well, I'm glad you asked. In 2018, one of these 1980 no mint mark pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. That's right, 2.8 million bucks for a single penny. It's like finding a golden ticket in your chocolate bar, but in coin form. But here's where it gets even more interesting. It's not just the rarity of the coin that gives it such a high value. It's also the condition. If you've got one of these rare pennies, but it's been tossed around in your pocket for years, it's probably not going to fetch you a fortune. Collectors are looking for mint condition examples, ones that are almost as perfect as the day they were struck. We're talking about a coin that's free from wear, scratches, or any other damage. These little details can mean the difference between a couple $100 and millions. That's cool, but how do I know if I've got one of these elusive pennies? Well, the first step is to check for that mint mark, or the lack of it. Look closely at the bottom right side of the coin, near the date. If you see a P, it's just a regular penny. If there's nothing, it could be a valuable find. But don't jump to conclusions just yet. You'll need to get it graded by a professional to truly know its value. A certified coin grader can tell you exactly what you've got. Let me share a little story from my own experience to put things into perspective. A while back, I was cleaning out some old boxes in my attic, stuff I hadn't touched in years. In one of them, I found a small bag of coins my dad had collected from his travels when he was younger. I thought they were just random bits of change, maybe worth a few bucks. But when I got a professional coin dealer to look at them, I found out I was sitting on a small gold mine. There were coins in there worth way more than I thought. It felt like winning the lottery. Without actually buying a ticket to SO, take a moment and think about those coins you've been shoving into that jar or leaving in the back of your drawer. Maybe it's time to take a closer look. Alright, folks, if you've learned anything today, it's that your pennies might not be as worthless as you think. In fact, they could be the key to unlocking a treasure chest of cash. That 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a great example of how rare coins can go from just another piece of change to a multi-million-dollar gem. Before I wrap this up, let me just say, don't throw out your pennies just yet. Check your coins, get them graded, and who knows, you might just find a rare treasure that could make you a fortune. And hey, if you like hearing about tips like this and want to learn more about coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you more insider info, so you can go from casual collector to coin connoisseur in no time. So, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and let's get those coins working for you. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next coin tip I've got in store for you. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pockets be filled with rare, valuable coins, or at least a couple of lucky pennies. We're talking about a coin that's not just a penny for your thoughts, but a penny that could actually be worth $2.9 million. Yep, you heard me right, $2.90 million. That's not a typo. So, grab your magnifying glasses, sit tight, and let's dive into the amazing world of the 2014 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. But before you go rummaging through your change jar, wondering if you've got one of these rare gems, I've got a little story to share that might just make you feel a bit better about your coin collecting habits. So, let's get into it. Alright, so here's the deal. The 2014 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny might look like your average penny, but trust me, it's anything but average. What makes this coin so special? Well, a little mistake made at the Denver Mint in 2014 turned these pennies into valuable collectibles. You see, while the 2014 D Lincoln penny is supposed to be the regular copper-plated zinc variety, some of these bad boys were struck with a rare error that gives them insane value. The mint accidentally produced pennies with an unusual die, which caused some to have unique characteristics like off-center designs or even doubling on the Lincoln Memorial. These errors, although subtle, make them incredibly rare and, as you can guess, highly sought after by collectors. Imagine finding one of these on the sidewalk. You're just walking along, picking up pennies like you always do, and boom! You've just found a coin worth more than a new car. I'm telling you, the next time you find a penny, you might want to slow down and take a second look. If you're in the right place at the right time, you could be the next lucky person to strike gold. Or should I say, strike copper? Okay, enough of my bad puns. Let's get back to business. So, how do you spot this penny worth millions? First, look for the 2014 D Mint mark. That's the key. If you've got a penny with the 2014 date and a D Mint mark, it's worth investigating further. The 2014 D Mint pennies are typically worth 1 cent. But here's the catch. Those with the error can fetch thousands, even millions, depending on how rare the mistake is. Take a look at this penny. This is an example of the kind of penny you're looking for. Check for any signs of doubling, especially around the date, the Liberty inscription, and the Lincoln Memorial. If you see anything out of the ordinary, like a ghost image or a doubled-up design, you could be looking at a mint error. And when that happens, well, it could make your penny worth way more than its face value. That's all well and good, but how the heck do I get $2.9 million for a penny? Great question. Here's where it gets juicy. In 2019, one of these rare 2014 D Mint Mark pennies, in nearly perfect condition, sold for $2.9 million. Yes, you read that right. $2.90 million. And no, they didn't print that on the back of the penny. It was because of the error and its rarity. The coin was so unique and so perfect that someone was willing to pay a small fortune for it. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a 2014 D Mint penny in decent condition, and you think it might have some of those unique traits we talked about, you could sell it to collectors, auction houses, or coin dealers. But, and this is important, make sure to get it professionally graded. It's not just the error that matters. The condition of the coin is everything. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't have a $2.9 million penny, do I? Don't worry. Most of us don't. But hey, even a small error could still bring in a decent amount. So, don't just toss it in your jar. Do some digging. Who knows what you'll find? Now, let me share a quick story. A few months ago, I was going through some old change I had lying around. You know, the kind of change you throw into a jar when you're feeling lazy. I was looking for some quarters to do laundry, and guess what I found? A penny. Just a regular old penny. But then I noticed something strange. The date was off-center. I thought, maybe this is something. So, I took it to a local coin shop and, well, turns out it was just a worn penny. Classic. Not $1 million mistake, just a regular old penny with a little wear and tear. But hey, it was fun thinking about it for a minute. Always check your coins. You never know when you'll find something rare. But even if it's not worth millions, hey, at least you got a cool story out of it. Alright, folks, I hope you enjoyed learning about the 2014 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and the crazy, unbelievable market value it could hold. Remember, always check your change and keep an eye out for those rare mint errors. If you've learned something new today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips on how to spot coins worth money and the strategies to maximize your collection's value. If you're watching this, you're probably like me, obsessed with digging through piles of coins, hoping to find something that'll make you rich. But here's the thing. What if I told you that somewhere in your change jar, buried beneath the dimes and quarters, there's a penny worth $1 million? Sounds like a joke, right? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you all about the 1987 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's currently rocking the coin market and could make you a fortune. Now, before you start rifling through your old coin collections, let me just say this. Finding one of these rare pennies isn't going to be as easy as grabbing a handful of change from your couch cushions. But, trust me, it's worth knowing about. So stick around because this story could change the way you look at pennies forever. Alright, let's get into it. So, you're probably wondering, what exactly makes this 1987 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny so special? Well, first off, let's talk about the basics. The 1987 penny is not a rare year in the sense that there were only a few made. Oh no. In fact, billions of them were minted. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of them are pretty standard, which is why they're still sitting in your piggy bank, not worth much more than a cent. But there are exceptions. The penny we're talking about has a special D Mint mark. That D stands for the Denver Mint, where the coin was produced. But the magic happens when you find a 1987 D penny with a specific variety, a rare error or anomaly that can drive its price through the roof. Some of these 1987 D pennies have an error where the letters and numbers on the coin are slightly off or misprinted. This misprint, which might seem like an imperfection to the untrained eye, is actually what makes the coin incredibly valuable. It's what collectors call an error coin, and in some cases, they can fetch prices upwards of $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny worth $1 million. But how do you spot one of these? It's all about those little details. You've got to be on the lookout for things like a double die, where the coin's design appears to be blurry or doubled, a misaligned die, which causes the image to shift or even appear off-center, or other types of minting errors. Trust me, once you know what to look for, you'll start seeing these little flaws as potential gold mines. And listen, I know what you're thinking. But how do I even know if my penny is worth anything? Well, let me tell you a story about my own coin hunting adventures that a few years ago. I was at a flea market, and I picked up a few bags of mixed coins. You know, just your typical junk. Nothing special. But as I was sorting through them at home, I found a penny from 1987. It was nothing to write home about until I noticed something off. The date was a little smudged, the D Mint mark looked a little funky, and the letters weren't as crisp as they should have been. Long story short, I did a little research and discovered that I might have stumbled across an error coin. Turns out, it wasn't worth $1 million, I'll be honest. I got my hopes up, but it was worth a lot more than I thought. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of what seems like a random penny. Coin collecting is full of surprises. So, here's the bottom line, folks. While you may not stumble upon a $1 million 1987 D penny on your first try, you never know what treasures are hiding in your pocket change. If you're serious about making money from coins, it's all about knowing what to look for and being patient. I want to leave you with this. If you've got some pennies laying around, don't just toss them in a jar and forget about them. Take a second to inspect them. That 1987 D penny might just be the key to unlocking a fortune. And hey, if you want to keep learning about other coins that could make you rich, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss out on more coin tips, rare finds, and strategies to grow your collection. You're digging through an old jar of pennies your grandma gave you, and bam, you stumble upon a coin that could be worth $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1967 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Is your spare change secretly worth a fortune? Stick around to find out. When was the last time you checked your pocket change? If it's been a while, this video might have you sprinting to your coin jar faster than I sprint to the fridge during a midnight snack. What's so special about the 1967 Lincoln penny? First off, let's address the elephant, or should I say the penny, in the room. Why is this coin so valuable? Well, the 1967 Lincoln penny is unique for a couple of reasons. In 1967, the U.S. Mint didn't use mint marks to indicate where coins were produced. That's already a little quirky. But what makes some of these pennies worth up to $1.1 million is their rarity and condition. Specifically, collectors are hunting for pennies with flawless features, rare errors, or unique characteristics that set them apart. It's kind of like finding a perfectly ripe avocado. Super rare, super satisfying, and super expensive if you're in a trendy cafe. How to identify a valuable 1967 Lincoln penny? So, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1967 penny is the jackpot? This means it was minted in Philadelphia. No mint mark is normal for this year, but make sure it's there. Or, well, not there. The shinier, the better. Collectors love coins in pristine condition. If yours looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not the $1.1 million one. Check for any oddities. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual features can skyrocket the value of your penny. It's like the coin equivalent of an autograph from a celebrity. The rarer, the better. Why the 1967 penny is worth $1.10 million. Here's where things get juicy. One particular 1967 Lincoln penny sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Why? Because it was in mint state condition, meaning it looked like it had just been made. Coins like this are unicorns in the coin collecting world. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Last summer, I was helping my dad clean out his old garage, and we stumbled upon a dusty box full of coins. We didn't find a $1 million penny, sadly, but we did find a silver quarter worth $20. That moment taught me two things. 1. Always check your old coins, and 2. Never underestimate what's hiding in the junk your parents refuse to throw out. Let's talk strategy, because who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? Dig through your wallet, car console, and that mysterious drawer in your kitchen. You know the one. People unknowingly sell valuable coins all the time. It's like a gold mine for sharp-eyed collectors. Sounds nerdy, I know, but it's a game changer for spotting tiny details. These are great for tips, trading, and learning what's hot in the market. So, is the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny hiding in your house right now? Maybe. Maybe not. But the only way to find out is to start looking. And even if you don't strike it rich, the process is fun, educational, and a little addictive. All right, friends, that's the scoop on the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a little piece of copper could be worth so much? Before you go digging through your coin jars, I've got one more thing to ask. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Why? Because I've got tons more coin tips, treasure hunting strategies, and stories that'll make you see your pocket change in a whole new light. And remember, the next time you find a penny, don't just pick it up, inspect it. You might be holding your next big payday. All right, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, you're rummaging through an old jar of coins, and suddenly, BM, you stumble upon a penny. But not just any penny. This isn't the penny you toss into a fountain, or the one you leave behind in a take-a-penny tray. Nope. This one is worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A single, humble 1991 D. Lincoln penny with a value that could buy you a mansion or maybe a really fancy yacht. Let's dive into why this little copper wonder is making waves in the numismatic world and how you, yes you, might already have one hiding in plain sight. So, let's break it down. What makes this 1991 D. Lincoln penny so special? First, we're talking about the D mint mark, which means it was minted in Denver. Denver coins aren't typically rare, but this specific penny has something very, very unique going on. It's a die error, folks. This means that during the minting process, something went awry. And in the coin collecting world, mint errors are like finding a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Now, let me share a little story. A few years ago, I inherited a small jar of coins from my grandfather. At first glance, it was just a bunch of pennies and nickels, nothing exciting. But one rainy afternoon, I decided to sort through them. Lo and behold, I found a 1991 penny with a D mint mark. Did I think it was worth anything? Nah, I tossed it back in the jar. Fast forward to last year, and I see an article about this exact penny going for over $1 million at auction. My heart sank faster than the Titanic, folks. And let me tell you, that jar is still haunting me to this day, so what should you look for if you think you might have this rare penny? The weight. This penny is made of a transitional error, meaning it was struck on a planchet mint for a different coin, likely a foreign currency. It'll weigh slightly more or less than a regular penny. The details. Look for a strong strike, clear D mint mark, and any unusual features like doubling or misaligned designs. Get it graded. If you think you've hit the jackpot, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and give you a certification, which is basically your golden ticket to auction success. Now, the current market value for one of these pennies? A jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Why? Because collectors are willing to pay a premium for something so rare, so unique, and so historic. It's like owning a piece of American history, except this piece can change your life forever. When I told my friend about this penny, he immediately dumped his piggy bank onto the floor. He spent the next 2 hours scrutinizing every coin under a magnifying glass. He didn't find a $1 million penny, but he did find a quarter from 1976 that he swears is lucky. Don't underestimate your pocket change. That jar of pennies on your kitchen counter could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement savings. But remember, not every 1991 D penny is a millionaire. You've got to know what to look for, and you've got to be willing to dig a little deeper. Go grab that jar of coins, that old shoebox, or even the change under your couch cushions. Who knows? You might just strike gold or copper. In this case, if you found this video helpful, funny, or even just mildly interesting, hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin enthusiasts. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you turn spare change into serious cash. Don't miss out. Your next big discovery could be just a penny away. What if I told you that the humble penny hiding at the bottom of your junk drawer might be worth enough to buy a mansion, a sports car, and still leave you with some serious cash to splurge? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Today we're talking about the 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable it recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.40 million. Stick around because I'll break down exactly why this coin is worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and what to do if you've got a potential treasure in your pocket change. Plus, I'll throw in a personal story about the time I almost gave away a rare coin without realizing it. Spoiler alert, I'm still kicking myself. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. Why is this penny worth more than a luxury yacht? Well, it's all about rarity and a little mix-up at the US Mint. Normally, pennies from 1968 were produced at multiple mint facilities, like Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from San Francisco had an S mint mark, and Denver coins had a D. But a small number of pennies made it out of San Francisco without the S mint mark. Basically, a minting mistake. Mistakes in life usually cost us money, but in this case, it made the coin insanely valuable. Collectors love errors because they're unique, and this penny is like the Picasso of coin errors. Only a handful are known to exist, and when demand is high but supply is microscopic, you get a $1 million price tag. Alright, here's the fun part. How do you know if you've got one of these golden tickets? First, grab your 1968 pennies and a magnifying glass. Check the area right below the date. If there's no little letter S, you might just have hit the jackpot. But wait, before you go calling Sotheby's, you need to verify the coin's authenticity. Many coins lose their mint marks over time due to wear or tampering, so professional grading is a must. Don't clean your coin. I know the temptation to polish it up is real, but cleaning a coin can lower its value. Let it stay as is, and let the experts handle the rest. Let me tell you about the time I almost gave away a potentially valuable coin. A few years ago, I was sorting through some old coins my grandpa left me. I wasn't paying much attention and was about to toss a penny into a coin jar. But something about the date, 1968, made me pause. I Googled it, and boom. There it was, the legend of the no-mint mark penny. I got so excited that I spent the next hour examining every single coin in that jar. Sadly, it wasn't the one, but it taught me an important lesson. Always double-check your coins before cashing them in. Who knows what treasures you could be overlooking? Here's the kicker. The last time one of these 1968 no-mint mark pennies went to auction, it fetched $1.4 million. That's right, one penny. Think about that the next time someone tells you to keep the change. The coin market is wild right now, and rare coins like this are only getting more valuable. Why? Because collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for unique pieces. So, if you've got one, it's time to start thinking about where you want to spend your millions. The 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a minting error turned millionaire maker. To spot one, look for a missing S under the date. And if you think you've got one, get it authenticated because that little coin could change your life. Go check your penny jars, your couch cushions, and even the random stash of coins in your car. You never know. Your next big payday could be sitting right under your nose. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich. Who knows? Maybe the next video will be about a coin you actually own. Thanks for watching, and happy treasure hunting. Remember, every coin tells a story. Make sure you know yours.